You're watching Monty TV. I'm Jackie Karch, sitting down now with Amir Husain. He's the founder and CEO of global artificial intelligence company SparkCognition. Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you very much for having me, Jackie.
What is the next industry that's going to be disrupted by artificial intelligence?
Industrial companies, manufacturing, logistics, oil and gas, power. These are the areas where traditionally artificial intelligence penetration hasn't been very high. But I think the amount of impact that these technologies can have in these sectors is tremendous. And these are the sectors that make the world run.
You guys have been busy. You have a new partnership with Boeing.
That's right.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about that and why that's the next frontier?
Well, Boeing is a tremendous American company. They've been around for 103 years. They've really created the aviation ecosystem. And now we're moving into a world where instead of thousands of airliners flying in the sky together, there's going to be millions of unmanned autonomous aircraft. And that requires a completely different infrastructure. It requires new types of traffic management, deconfliction. It requires a new type of security. And all of that translates into AI and new generation software. So Boeing and us, we've partnered together to create a company called SkyGrid, which is tasked with building the next generation aviation operating system of the future that will take care of all of this traffic management and safety and security and allow us to enter a world where millions of aircraft fly in the sky.
Paint me a picture of what SkyGrid will look like.
So SkyGrid is going to be software that's integrated with a large number of regulators all over the world. Our FAA here in the United States, EASA in Europe, and many other regulators all over the world. And this is a system that will allow you to track both manned and unmanned traffic. It'll have embedded artificial intelligence algorithms that will augment the work of flight control and air traffic control. It'll be able to automatically identify and create the optimal routes for any one of these aircraft to take. These will be safe routes, they'll be optimally calculated. It'll also have integration with the vehicle itself, the autonomous vehicle, because they will number in the millions. You won't be able to have human beings touch each one of these. So the vehicles themselves will have to protect themselves against cyber attack. They will also have to monitor their own health using artificial intelligence-based prognostics. So there's a large amount of work that goes into this platform, but think about this as literally the brain, the absolute sort of nexus of future aviation.
Machines don't yet have the capacity to reason or rationalize or make that call as a human would, but why in the SkyGrid would it be better to have a machine making a decision or making an organizational chart?
Because, Jackie, I just don't think humans can operate at that scale. It's not a question of better or worse, it's a question of you can either have a world where you have this level of scale, or you can have a world that has the current level of scale and humans control it. There's so much economic value and potential to be derived from the true opening of the skies and the ability to fly autonomous aircraft with all kinds of payloads, delivering all kinds of services, everything from mapping to monitoring to package delivery to healthcare to transportation of humans and goods. There's so much economic value locked into that, but it requires numbers, and the numbers of aircraft and the number of flights that these aircraft will undertake, the level of hand-holding it would take for the current system with human beings in the loop or in the loop in multiple places would just make it economically unviable. You know, if you have a large airliner, you can have a crew of 4 or 5 engineers take a look at it, or technicians take a look at it after every flight. But if you have 10 million drones, can you really do that? You can't. So a lot of these things will have to take care of themselves, and that's really where the AI starts to come in. In some sense, these are not jobs that are being displaced. This is a new world that's being built, a new capacity that's being created, in which there is a job to be done for which there was no human equivalent.
Which countries are leading in artificial intelligence?
I was actually in a committee with Eric Schmidt of Google a few years ago. He and I were both at the CNAS AI task force. And my view was that in 5 years, China can overtake the US. And I asked Eric that question, and it was recorded publicly.
Was that 5 years ago?
It was 2 years ago.
We have 3 years left.
We have 3 years left. I don't think we're far off from that. You know, the US invented AI, and we certainly have a lead as far as the sophisticated algorithms and so on and so forth. But we don't have the kind of national intent the national intent that we had when we put together the space program, the national intent that we had when we put together the GI Bill, anything major that we've done has required cohesion, political, economic, technological, technocratic, all of that coming together to yield some sort of great benefit. In China, of course, they've announced a 2030 AI plan. They're going to spend $150 billion. When Xi Jinping comes and addresses the people, he has a bookshelf behind him on which there are 3 artificial intelligence books, messaging to the people that I'm an engineer, I'm serious about this, I read this stuff myself, this is personal to me. That kind of leadership goes a long way. When you go to China, and I've been there now many times in the last few months, the speed that you see, the speed of execution of people just moving and getting stuff done is very, very impressive. And I will say again, we have the technological lead, but China has many other natural advantages. I wouldn't like to see this as a battle between the US and China. I would like to see this as a collaboration between the 2 countries. But the reality is that if we want to at least maintain what we've been good at, I think we will require more of a national consensus, more spend, more support. If it isn't in the budget, it's not going to happen.